So now we're live. I tell you what, this is a special day for me for a number of reasons, and I really mean that. Everybody at this table, I've got a connection with. John David, I've known a long time.
Yeah.
And I always say this about John David. He's a Renaissance man. You realize that this guy can play the daggum guitar. Seriously, he played college football. He can build a freaking house. He's a hell of a duck hunter. What can he not do?
A lot.
So we're going to get into that. Now, through John...
Ask Mindy.
Yeah,
She
right.
can tell you.
Through John David, I met Dickhut, who became one of my best friends.
Mm-hmm.
And so we worked together, which is awesome. Teff and I have a storied background because we're both connected to my hometown, Augusta. And it's awesome to run into you, Teff, whenever we're up here, because you always mention those things about back home,
Right.
about people back home, characters, which there are some characters. And we have an appreciation for those people back home. And then Aaron is known across, really regionally and the South, of being a dog whisperer.
It's true.
Now, you're not Hispanic like Caesar Milan, but I hear you're just as good. And Aaron is Pine Bluff.
That's right.
Straight out of Pine Bluff.
Yep. Moved to Fayetteville when I was 13 years old. So
And
Fayetteville was more home than Pine Bluff. But originally, yeah.
Come on, man.
Cherry
You gotta
Street,
own
Pine Bluff,
PB.
Arkansas.
Yeah.
No, I do.
Yeah, no.
Originally, Cherry Street and Pine Bluff.
Yeah. And so Aaron and Dickhut are both licensed and going to be an integral part of the land division moving forward. And so we're really, really happy. Again, this is really a special day to have all y'all here. And I really appreciate y'all being here. I know y'all have a lot going on. And
Oh, dude, we've been wanting to do this.
all right, good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's been fun to see what y'all have done.
Yeah.
And so let's start by giving a little bit of a background on kind of where you were. I always say this, I'm in recovery. So I always say what happened, what's going on now, and what's the future. You know? And so let's talk about that. Let's talk about kind of how you guys got into recreational land, hunting property, and talk to us about where you guys are right now with
Yeah.
FowlCo.
You want me to start?
Go for it.
So where I was, like you kind of referred to, I did residential construction here in Northwest Arkansas since 2009. And man, really the story of FowlCo, moving into FowlCo, that's all I'm going to go into that. Moving into FowlCo, really it was just kind of like Lord's perfect timing with three dudes that were ready for what God had for us right now, which is FowlCo. And so the timing and stuff and the way it all came together, I always say it's comical for us to take credit for it, which we took steps. But it was just perfect timing on all of us ready to move on and do something that we were good at and that we loved. I think we were all in that place of like, I want to do something I'm good at that I love to do. And I mean, yeah, at times it feels like work, but man, I mean, I think y'all would agree. I feel like we have a blast with what we do. And God's blessed it. And kind of like your business, I remember like it's sitting in your house and you going, I'm about to start a brokerage.
Yeah.
I was like, let's go sell my house. And you did.
Well, and you got me my first agent.
Yeah.
Shannon
And Daniel was here for a little bit too.
And then
Dickie.
this guy over here.
Yeah. So anyway, it's just cool to see what God's done in your business and like your leadership and the way that people want to work for you. And man, it might sound arrogant, but I feel like that's kind of it's been cool to watch the trajectory of what we've built.
I know.
Getting to do something that we love.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
To blend those two things, I think, is the goal of everybody. Do what you're good at, do what you love. And most of the time, those two things are the same.
Yeah.
You know, what we love is what we're good at.
Well, it's when you're
That's
impactful.
what you love. Yeah.
You're not
and that's how
impactful.
you make
Yeah,
an
that's
impact,
right.
Right?
Yeah.
So talk to me about, because I knew Teff was at Spring Valley, and he was running that thing. And then I knew Aaron was full-time dog training.
Well, got in a place called Wildlife Farms in Stuttgart.
You did that too,
Yeah, I
didn't
was
you?
there for
Okay.
12, 15
So
years.
Wildlife Farms in Stuttgart, and was that all duck guiding?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then John David, I know for a fact, was building houses because I was right there alongside him. And so talk to me about how the three of you guys found each other and came up with this thing, which is now one of, if not the most premier guiding services in the US. It's wild to think back. You were guiding at Wildlife, training dogs. You were running a whole nother outfit up here, and you were building houses.
Yeah.
And now we're sitting here 7 years later, and you got the most renowned
9.
nine.
Isn't that wild?
Oh, that is
Ugh.
It is, yeah.
club. I mean, that's a rare kind of thing.
Yeah.
So how in the world did this even happen?
Well, I met John David on the beach in Seaside, Florida, and he came walking down the beach with
Slow motion.
the Cole's.
Had that lane.
That's right.
Yeah.
Cole's little pig hat is what he had
Oh,
on. You know what
yeah.
I'm talking about?
Yeah,
Curly tail.
yeah.
And like I can still see him. And Lila, his youngest daughter, she was probably what, 1.
Yeah, she was
barely
just
started
walking.
because she was holding on to his giant phone as I walked down the beach. And
Yeah.
I hit my wife now on the shoulder, but and I said, "Look at this rice farmer's kid right here."
Yeah.
That's exactly what I laid with as soon as I said it, and I said, "What pig, man? How was your duck season?" First words out of my
Is
mouth.
that
Vouch
right?
for that because I just nagged him that hard, and I was always at that time like fishing for a new hunting spot, and I knew he probably had one, so which he did, Big Island, which was on the planet,
Yeah.
and as far as that went, and then we realized within a couple seconds that we knew our daddies knew each other, and I believe John David probably met my dad along the way. My dad trained a golden retriever for John David's dad, and then my dad also trained a dog for you,
Multiple.
dogs for Josh at that point. But I had never met Josh, and I never met John David, but I knew John David was, I knew Josh was at that time. And
What year was that?
Lila is 16.
No, I was 16, so it would have
15
been
years ago.
like right after we moved up here.
And at that time, I was having my first kid, and I wasn't able to go part-time. I'd been guiding part-time or full-time for 15, 20 years at that point, and not 20, probably 15. And I started kind of reeled in, thinking about doing my own thing. That club was privatizing at the time, and so there's a bunch of customers that I had relationships with that were like, "Man, where you going? What are you doing?" John David and I become buddies. We got part-time down there. You went with me a couple times. And then it wasn't long after that we were turkey hunting together, and turkeys coming in on John David and I, and usually I'm kind of in a blackout state of mind. I think everyone.
Yeah, you're not talking. You're not talking
and
about
any other time that I've ever turkey hunted, I never had a conversation with anybody outside of like what's happening in that moment. But for some reason at that moment, like a bolt of lightning went down my spine, and I hit John David in the shoulder, and as he is just bared down when turkeys come at him, and I said, "Text Josh Teff right now and ask him if he wants to get lunch on Wednesday." And he's like, "Dude, what are you doing? What do you wish you could?" And I was like,
What is wrong with
text him right now, and I couldn't get out of my head until he
Is that
he put his
right?
phone down and said, "Wrong for whole hog on Wednesday. You good?" We went back to trying to play turkey. That's literally how it happened. I still to this day, like I get my hair standing on even thinking about it because I don't know like what came over that moment, but I kind of like that was the time when the universe was like, "These two guys need to be together." There's just something happen.
And that's I didn't know that.
No, it's even crazier than that.
I did not.
Yeah.
No, I
even
mean,
know.
so like if you were to write all this down, I mean, it's almost like a apologetic for faith. Like it's crazy.
It's wild.
So as all that's going on, this is in 17, the turkey season of 2017. So unbeknownst to them at all, I had already resigned from Spring Valley a couple months before that, but I was still there, like trying to figure out what I was going to do. He just let me stay, they only let me stay till I figured out what I was going to do.
Yeah.
So I'm praying the whole time, like, what am I going to do? Because I cannot go back. I did 15 years in an office. I ain't doing that anymore. And after I'd been at Spring Valley for like 10 years at that time. So I had left. They had no idea. JD and I had only met each other 6 months before that, randomly at the barbershop. And we had gone to church together for years.
We had known about each other.
I knew who you were, but like we'd never talked all those years. And every time I'd see him, I'd be like, that dude, I guarantee you we'd probably G-Haw because he had 3 kids about the same age as mine.
Yeah.
We're about the same age, yada, yada. So all those years go by, I never even spoke to him. And then he worked with my brother and I saw him at the barbershop and This was all the same 6-8 month period. So we'd met, and then I invited him to come hunt at the lodge I was guiding at the time in Oklahoma, and we became fast friends after that. Well, then we had a connection. I'd never met Aaron at all, but I knew his dad for 10 years before that. I knew who he was, but didn't know him. And then Aaron has this epiphany, and JD texts me, and so we decided to go have lunch, and so all that happened at the absolute perfect moment. You know, it was like, because I could have easily just still been happy as a pig, you know. And
We all three had life changes happening. We all three had kind of fatigue in what we'd been doing, you know, and we're all three hungry to go do something we loved all
They
simultaneously.
didn't even know you had put in your notice
No.
whenever
So-
he
No.
was telling that to JD.
Talking about like land, and you know, we're all in the land business, and you guys are too. And you know,
Yeah.
we're all selling it, but you're investing in it and building it,
Leasing it.
leasing it.
development, yeah.
And I was out there at FowlCo when you guys we were in the camper.
Yeah, before we
It's
had
like,
con.
here's the
Oh,
lawn.
really?
And then
This is where it'll be.
yeah, I mean, some of the best duck hunts that I remember
Yeah.
were those like
Yeah.
layout blinds in a Milo field, and those ducks in that central flyway had no idea that you savages were coming to. But how did y'all, like, I don't think I ever, you know, really even asked you this, but we're talking about land, all of us all the time. How did you pick Garber? I don't know that
That's
I
a
ever knew
very
that,
good question.
that part of it. I mean,
Yeah.
you obviously all knew this maybe the flyway was shifting central, but like Garber.
Yeah, so that was like what we left our initial meeting. That was like the only thing that, you know, I was like, well, it sounds like a great idea, but I'm broke as a joke, and you know, I don't know anybody that's going to give me any money. At least I didn't think I did. And so we left that first initial lunch meeting with, that's what I told them, was like, the only thing I can tell you out of all this is like where I would go. And so that was because when I was at Spring Valley, I was guiding at a place called Skelly in Tulsa. And my mentor in the duck calling world was a fellow named Trey Crawford, who passed away since, but he was a 3-time world champion of champions duck caller, taught me everything I knew. And he's randomly guiding for a guy that had a small little guy, you know, day fee guide service out in Garber. And so he calls me out of the blue. I don't talk to him all that often. He calls me out of the blue. This was a few years before I even met Aaron or John David, and he's like, "You guys got any ducks over there?" He knew I was guiding at this place. He's, "You got any ducks over there?" And I said, "I mean, we got a few, but it's froze up. You know, they're all just rafted up in this rest lake." And he goes, "You need to come about an hour and a half west." I'm like, "What?" I mean, as far as I knew, this is desert. Like, there ain't nothing out there. It was like barren. He goes, "Just come on." So Harold and I, one of our other partners, we go out there, and we end up hunting this dry cornfield, which I'd never hunted a dry cornfield before. And so we're in layout blind. I don't think I'd ever been in a layout blind up to that point, but we're laying there, hunt the morning, kill like 27 ducks. And I was like, "That's pretty awesome, dude." He goes, "No, brother, they ain't even got up yet." He's like, "We're going to go get a burger and come back." So we come back that afternoon, 10,000 mallards get up off this roost finally in the warmest part of the day. And it is the craziest thing I'd ever seen in my life. So that happened. Then we go back again, and I even took a group of customers over there one day when we were frozen. We killed 11 limits on a little pond in an hour and a half. Go back, kill 100 geese, little Canadas, which I'd never done with my family over Thanksgiving. So anyway, all those things happen. And then at some point, I'm starting to kind of like look around to pay attention if anybody's doing anything on an Arkansas style scale, you know, in Oklahoma. And nobody was. Like, there was nobody. There's a few people doing day fee guide services, but not a purpose-built hunting lodge for waterfowl. So that's how we ended up going where we went, you know.
What was that process like?
We thought he was crazy.
Uh,
Cause I'm like, dude, we came from the duck capital of the world, you know, and it would have made sense for us to go
so
to.
y'all were skeptical at first.
Well, I mean,
like,
I trusted y'all. I mean, I knew
you're
that.
like, yeah, right.
Yeah,
right,
no.
yeah.
But I mean, like, one, there's a reason there's no,
Yeah.
you know, purpose-built lodges over there, right? You would think, in my head, this is my reasoning. And it made sense because of all of our connections in Arkansas. We would have gone to Arkansas and done this.
Sure. Yeah.
And so Josh kept just, saying, y'all got to trust me. I mean, I fully did. But we went over there and started hunting a little bit. And like Matt, said, and what Josh experienced, I experienced. Aaron had done that hunting. Aaron had got it in the Dakotas and stuff like that. I'd never hunted like central flyway birds, like where you kill mallards in the middle of a dry field.
Yeah.
That was a first experience for me. And anyway, it blew my mind. And then I got it. I was like, man, it's a lot harder to move to Nashville to become a country singer. It's a lot easier to be discovered somewhere else, and then you can go to Nashville.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And so that was, right.
Now you go into
that was kind of my thought process, right? Is like, let's be the first ones. Then I got it.
Yeah.
And I mean, he was right on.
And so, kind of working off what Matt says. So, okay, fine. You found the birds.
Yeah.
You don't own nothing over there.
Yeah.
So then what was that process like? Like, I mean, that's daunting to go, oh man, we're going to have to find some ground to hunt.
Or know really many people.
I say this, and you probably outline it the best. One of my favorite, probably least told parts of FowlCo, because it's kind of a slow witness, was the piece of land that we bought at auction, and Josh gives details of that, but it was in rough shape. Yeah. It had old oil wells on it that were vacant. I mean, barbed wire fences. The ground looked like this table.
Piles of trash.
I think when the campers that we had, it was 6 jackrabbits living on that place, and that was about it. The old agricultural field in the bottom. Even the people in the county would tell you that was one of the most abused pieces of property that existed out there. But when we cleaned it up, built this really awesome wetland down there. It's kind of the central hub for all the ducks and areas. One of the only flooded clone fields in the zone, because it kind of fuels everything around it that we lease. Just watching that place come back, and now there's giant whitetails on it, coveys of quail, wild pheasant everywhere.
Now that's a beautiful
10 to 20,000 ducks.
How do you take
on
a
that
piece
place.
of land like that and you turn it into a mecca? And
you let nature come back, and you prescribe internet, and
But you got to have the vision in order.
Yeah.
Well, so when we
farming for wildlife.
When we pulled up on it, I mean, I thought we were looking at a different place. Like, I thought we were looking at this half section to the east of us, which is beautiful. I mean, it's really beautiful. And I'm like, we get to the place we actually sit on now, and it's raining, so it's kind of muddy, and there's baling twine and wire everywhere. There's old cattle panels rusted out, the fences, there's a dead carcass.
Yeah.
Dude, there's literally 50 years of people dumping trash in this. Shingles everywhere.
Asbestos shingles.
Yeah, I mean, it was like.
Oh man, some of you used to see them glowing from space.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's right. Yeah. You can go back on Google Earth, and there's so much trash, you can see it from the satellite images. But it's like, we get on there, and first impression was like, we waste our time. Like, this is dumb. That's the way this ain't gonna work. Well, then, just out of happenstance, the topography of the property, when you get to where the lodge sits, you're kind of on like one of the highest points in the whole county. Yeah. So you're standing there, you can see for miles, and it's like, but like, if you're just looking at what's right here, it's like, no. But if you just kind of separate yourself from that and you look out, it's like, this is kind of cool. And then, as we're looking down the hillside, it drops off and it goes into this perfectly flat 120 acre bottom with a creek running through it for water. And water's a commodity out there. Like, it's really scarce. So we had a guy with us at the time who was kind of a wetland developer type dude, and he takes off down in there to see if he thought it would hold water. So he does that, and then, we're looking over, and there's like this old small cattle pond, and there's another hump that's pretty flat on the other side. So, we're talking, it's like, we put the lodge here, we could put a wetland down there and have like this back porch overlooking hopefully all these ducks coming in the evenings. And then, we could set our shop over here where all the business happens, and we would stay. And literally that's exactly what it is today, is like, and over time, we didn't do anything to the ground. We just let Mother Nature have it back. And it's like Aaron said, it's big white-tailed deer, quail out the wazoo, pheasants out the wazoo. Obviously, during duck season, it loads up with ducks, thousands of them. I mean, it's like a sportsman's paradise. And if you'd have seen it when we bought it, you wouldn't believe it. You wouldn't. You would not believe. I wish we had a before and after drone.
When he says we didn't do anything to the ground, he means it was super overgrazed. So like we had to just let grass grow. And then like now, year after year, we burn it, section it off and burn it. And I mean, now all those native grasses have come back. And
now the wetland part, we till that up. But on the top, like what we call the top side, the high side, it's 130 acres. And for the most part, other than burning it, we hadn't done much to it other than just let the natives come back and all those animals just flock.
They really did, man.
Yeah.
It's wild.
That's incredible.
And then a lot of trapping.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, that is true.
Yeah.
Everything.
Yeah.
So
Working.
you saw it early on, and you've seen the full transition.
Yeah, I mean, turning something that was a dream into I mean, what I see with them now is they're a brand, you know, more than a brand and almost like a lifestyle or you know, a Northern Star for outfitters. I feel like, and I'll be all over the country wearing a FowlCo hat.
Me too.
And it's an icebreaker because people be like, you ever been to FowlCo? And I'm like, yeah, they're some of my best buddies.
I've had that happen myself.
And it's just, it's crazy how widely known that brand is.
Well, let's talk a little bit about that, because we did talk about kind of what I would say is, you know, a divine connection, that something else was putting y'all together, right? And so y'all got together, you bought land at an auction.
Well, we didn't buy it at an auction. It had been on the market for a year, and it had sold at auction. This is another crazy part of the whole thing. It had sold at auction a year before, and they turned it down, and we actually ended up paying like $50,000 less than what it had sold for a year before.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Another cool story.
Yeah.
Okay. So then you built the lodge. You started going out and acquiring leases and or ownership of land in and around that lodge. The three of y'all, kind of on a dream, took all of y'all's skill sets and all of y'all's emotional intelligence and all of y'all's connections and just said, hey, we're going to open up and see if anybody wants to be a part of this thing. And then year one happened, and y'all probably knew, hey, we may have something.
Yeah.
Is that true?
Yeah.
So at what point did you guys go from, man, this thing may or may not work, to, oh, I think we're on to something?
Man, to be honest, I don't think there was a moment that I had that this thing may not work.
Really?
We, from the way, like, just from a hindsight perspective, looking back and seeing how things were coming together and knowing that it was kind of like, all right, something's up, you know, something's going on here. And then I'll never forget, and I say this a lot, but, you know, like Josh was talking about, me and Josh pulling up to the land for the first time. I remember getting out of the Ranger and us finally going, this is where the fire pit's going to be. And people are going to have cocktails and watch ducks work this wetland down here in the evenings, you know, before dinner.
Yeah.
And then, you know, 1 year goes by. We've purchased the land, not even a year. I mean, we purchased the land pretty quick after that. But then, so November, we purchased the land of 17, started construction in April of 18. And by middle of September, everything was complete. Corn was growing in the wetland. Both guide quarters and main lodge were complete. And we were standing there where the fire pit was, overlooking the wetland, watching ducks work. And we were, I would say, 90% booked year one.
Yeah, I mean, it was, which is, you know, like he said, I never doubted it either, because I knew that Aaron, like, so at one point, and I couldn't tell you how I did it, I have no idea, but somehow I got into his phone, well, they gave him to me to do this, but got every phone number, and we didn't care if it was grandma's, uncles, aunts, cousins, whatever, I didn't care. I was just throwing numbers in some kind of marketing software. So got every single phone number any of us had in our phones, every single email I could pull out of it, and put those in marketing software, and blasted the best visual my brother could make to, I don't know how many thousands of people it was. It was quite a few though. And it was like boom, 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 boom. Just people started like, put me down for 6, put me down for 8, put me down for this, blah, blah, blah. Take the whole lodge, you know. And we didn't book it 100% the first year, but it was like 90 plus.
Yeah.
And every year since then, you know, we've had a waiting list, but
So they were booking on y'all's reputation.
on us,
Yeah.
on his relationships, Aaron's relationships, mine.
And y'all ended up delivering on your reputation, and that's how it happened.
That's right.
Okay, I understand that. Now, you've got a successful club. We all know that. We all know that y'all are stretching into some other areas of the country. We all know that people are very aware of y'all's brand. And so 2 questions here, and then we're going to talk a little bit about, I want to know y'all's advice to landowners on how to increase the value of their property. But 2 questions here. You have this successful thing, right? And it's a gift. It's been given to you guys. How do you use it for impact? And the next question is, what's next for FowlCo? So talk to me a little bit about how you're leveraging this gift to make an impact in other people's lives.
Well, I think that, you know, knowing a lot of other operations that are phenomenal, that provide an incredible experience, through people that have been to both, you know, there's things that they're better at than us. And I think that the feedback has been that we're more focused on the relational aspect instead of the bells and whistles, instead of the chocolate mint on your pillow, you know, and your towels being embroidered with your initials when you get there. It's like people want to come back because of, you know, just the friendship. And that's what we said from the beginning, is we wanted it to feel like you're going to you're going to your family's house for Thanksgiving. You know, like everybody's hugging and so fired up to see each other and having a good time, and then you roll out. And I think you know, I think that's how impact is. I mean, I know, like personally, I've had several guys that have shown up at my house for a weekend when they're going through like some of the hardest stuff anybody will walk through. And that's not because I'm a duck guy, it's because I've become their friend. Same thing with these guys. They've had the same thing. It's like we have just developed relationships. And that's the key, right? I mean, like, you know, the old, it's not what you know, but who you know. And it's like, that can seem like you're taking advantage of somebody, but when you truly care about people and they come back the next year and you ask about how their kids are doing, they're like, wait, no, you remembered? I think it's that kind of stuff that makes it special. It's not that we're, you know, there's a lot of really good duck hunters. There's a lot of really good experiences that you can have around the country. I think, you know, like we talk about a lot, we control the things that we can control, and we remind everybody every day we're hunting wild birds. It's up to the Lord. The weather's up to the Lord. The migration pattern is up to the Lord. But we're going to have fun, you know. So.
Yeah, that's really good. I think it is that simple. And it's like that in our business too.
Yeah.
I mean, Aaron's licensed, and I've watched Matt Dickhut. It's less about the transaction, and it's really more about that relationship.
So
now, you got to have a good transaction. You got to be an
that's
expert.
Exactly right.
But the magic happens when you blend being an expert to an actual intimate relationship, or let's just say a trustworthy relationship.
Yeah.
That's the magic in any business. And I think you're right. I mean, that's how you make the impact, because you're impacting so many people that go through, and then they get to go spread that and make that impact as well.
Yeah.
And I mean, something is special about you guys' company. Something is very special. Even the talk around here in Northwest Arkansas, when people get back, it's like, have you ever been to a summer camp as a kid, especially if you got baptized or something? You know, you quit cussing for a month. You know? And that's how people are, man. When they get back from FowlCo, hell, they're on fire. I'm telling you. It's obvious.
Well, so I think it's that. So you know, you got to check off the boxes. You got to have a good product, right? You know, that's like, so you can't you can have the best intentions, you know, you want, but you have to have a good product. So like, I think we have a good product. I think we have a really nice place. We serve some of the best food you're ever going to eat.
I've heard that.
We're in one of the best locations in the Central Flyway you could ask for most years. So like, I mean, we've all seen stuff out there that I don't think any of us have seen anywhere else. And you're probably not going to see anywhere else. I mean, I've been to Canada and didn't see anything up there that even compared to the stuff I've seen in Northern Oklahoma. So like, we check those boxes off. Great. But I do think that if you don't have what John David's talking about, if you don't have that relational aspect, you can have the best product and people ain't going to want to come back, because it's like, that only goes so far. And then I think we could have a lesser product and have what we have, with which all three of this is the deal. It's like, what's awesome about this dynamic is that every night, if he's worn out, we got it. If I'm worn out, they got it. And none of us have any doubt that those customers are getting the absolute best attention they can get. And then the other part of it is exclusivity. So like, we only run 16 people a day, period.
Okay.
Like, we're not deviating from that. We don't plan on ever doing more than that, because it keeps that exclusivity, and it keeps people that, you know, our wait list is ridiculous. I mean, it's out of hand at this point, and it kind of sucks because we can't take advantage of all these people, but it also gives us staying power and longevity, you know, like knowing that, all right, this opened up. I know you've been waiting 4 years, but here you go. And it's like Christmas Day for a lot of those guys that finally get in. So, you know, it's kind of all that, but no doubt, it's like Chick-fil-A. They sell chicken sandwiches, but why do people go back to Chick-fil-A? Because they get treated like they're the most special customer in the world, you know, and it's a moment, but like, I think that's what separates us from the crowd, is like, we genuinely, it's not an act. We're not putting it on. Like, we genuinely want to get to know people.
That's a
and
beautiful
understand.
thing. I mean, I know y'all. I know that's the case. And it's so cool to see that play out. It gives me encouragement to want to do that in my business. Because let me just tell you this. It may not be what I'm supposed to say, but there's a lot of ego in our world.
Yeah.
When you get into hunting, y'all got guys come there that got a lot of money. They got the best gun. They've killed more birds. They've killed more. And so you got that ego. And you guys, y'all got this real humble approach to you. And you're the best at what you do. And I think that impact that you can have on people's lives to go, hey, you don't have to prove nothing to me.
Yeah.
We're good with you.
Right.
No matter what. I don't give a shit if you've never killed a damn duck in your life.
Yeah.
Right.
You're the same as if you came in here and you've killed 1 million. It don't matter. That's refreshing.
Yeah.
Because that ego shows up at your door, I guarantee you. And y'all have got the ability to go, hey, that don't matter here.
Yeah.
That's a very
That's
powerful
true.
thing.
I think that, and the fact that like, it's our place, and I mean, like, don't get twisted. When we're there, like, we make the
Y'all
call
working.
and we make the calls. So I don't care if you have $1 billion.
Yeah.
Like, you're not going to do that.
Sure.
Because it's not safe.
Yeah.
Okay. So that might be the first time that they've been told no. But then you combine that with, right after that, an awesome, like a big group of ducks coming in and everybody's shooting, having fun, and everybody's high-fiving. Then those business deals that are on the fringe almost going to get done for the first time. They're on a team together. Right. And that guy that's bringing that guy as a potential client, or entertaining somebody that has worked for them and wants to keep their business, now they're on a team together for the first time, right? He might have been writing checks for that guy to do stuff for him, but now they're like, that was awesome. We're connected in another way, because again, God's creation does that.
Makes sense.
Right?
Yeah.
And so it's fun to watch that, and I feel like a lot of walls get broken down from what you were referring to. The type of people, man, I mean, that gets broke down pretty quick there. And it's really neat to see. And that's some of the coolest relationships that we've built.
Yeah. That's
is through that.
Well, one of my favorite ways that, and I've over 20 plus years of doing this, at first it was like, oh, I'm hunting, I'm taking people to kill stuff, and then I'm over here. It's hospitality, it's this and that, but I really narrowed it down to like making core memories with people. Like if I take all that I've done and I put it down in one little box, like what was the most important thing of all of it is the fact that like I had the gift to be able to get kids their first ducks and first turkeys and pivot into moments where John David and I, like my favorite hunt from last year when we took a young man out and went bobcat hunting. You look at a man and say, man, you want to go bobcat hunting? They think you're crazy. And then you go out and pull it off. You look like a hero. And now John David and I share a core memory with some guys right here from Fayetteville, Shaw's, that like I will live in my head rent free forever. And I'm sure theirs as well. But, and then to be able to walk away and know that I'm also, making a living doing it and able to like support the whole thing. But I just, every day, like I think that's the thing that keeps me rolling. It's like, make a core memory with somebody, have an impact, and then the rest will take care of itself, So,
well said.
Yeah.
I love that. Let me ask him a question. As a person on the outside that was there year one and continue to go back, what are some of the things that you've seen out of FowlCo that has been impressive or progressive, or what are some significant changes? What are some of the things that you've seen from day one up until now?
Well, I mean, one thing, if it's not broke, don't fix it. So the food has been
Is the food?
I mean, it's always been this, and it's like one of those things. But people go out there and they're like, man, I can't wait for Brian's chicken again this year, or the burger after the hunt, or so. If it's not broken, don't fix it. They haven't really strayed from that at all. But I think the biggest thing I've seen change is the wetland wasn't there. When we're talking about land again, coming back to the roots of the land, the wetland wasn't there. That was a vision. And ducks don't. I mean, the first year they would work it, but it wasn't like it is now. And they've really, that's the biggest change I see, is just like that is now a hub that there wasn't ever a duck on that property in history probably before they showed up. There was a little cow pond that may have 2 mallards on it every once in a while, but they've created a true sanctuary. And there were years that you guys didn't really even hunt it, other than maybe at the splits and then the last day of the season, and you
still rarely hunt it.
It's actually not that fun to hunt it, believe it or not. Even with, you would think that many ducks on it, you would think like, oh, it's the place to go. But it's such a big expanse, and they literally know like what corn cob they left when they flew off of it, and so they really just don't pay a lot of attention. And like flooded corn in the waterfowl world is a hot topic right now, but like in our situation, that field, because we don't really hunt it much, it's not like a resource to us that big away as far as that goes. But that whole thing, those ducks go back every year to Canada, wherever they head, and they come back, they go there healthier because of that cornfield, and they come back. So in my eyes, that population, that little nucleus right there, has grown because they're going back healthier. But it's also supplying hunting opportunities for everything that we lease, but everything that is around us that other people lease and hunt too. So, and I think we've seen that swell over the years, and we've had years that the cornfield wasn't in great shape, and saw an impact on everything in that area there too. So, there's benefit. People really are looking at that type of thing negatively.
One thing I wanted to bring up was just like, you guys have probably single-handedly increased property values in Garber County and the surrounding counties.
For good or bad.
Expansion, like
we feel that too.
Yeah, I mean, you're having to pay more for your leases, I'm sure, now than you ever did. But
the effect of that is real.
I know I've run some comps for Teff and in the past on.
Well, y'all holler at your boy next time you go somewhere, so me and Dickhut can go buy all around.
Let's go. Let's go.
All right. All right. So here we're about to finish up here. I'm going to ask one question, and then we're going to talk about the future.
Yeah.
Okay. This question here, we want to educate people, landowners. A lot of landowners watch this podcast, and everybody. I want to hear from you guys. But if we've got a landowner that's listening to this, and let's just say they want to improve their property somehow, and they don't have all the different bells and whistles. what are some ways that they can make an impact on their property, on their recreation property, to increase the value of their land in a reasonable way, in a more simple way? They're not going to go start a duck guide service, right? And so what is it that you guys have seen people do in the past to increase the value of their property and to increase its habitat and wildlife?
Yeah, I would say immediately burn.
Is that right?
Burn.
Okay.
Be the most costly.
As far, I mean, from coming from your question, I mean, like obviously limited budget.
Sure,
I think
sure.
that
That's
I
what I
think
mean.
that putting some kind of infrastructure through the property to be able to get from point A to point B, and I also think it depends on why you're buying the property, right? Are you buying it for cattle? I mean, that might look a little different than if you're buying it as a hunting property. But I think that
So know your property first of all.
know the
And
reason
then-
going into it.
And then the next question I have is, what is it that the burn accomplishes?
Oh man, it cleans up the floor of your entire ground, and there's seeds that are sitting on top of the soil waiting to make contact with the sun, and a lot of times that's choked out. So it just gives you a fresh growth, a new growth. Whenever you burn it, it cleans it up, and it allows that new, fresh, nutrient-rich grass to grow.
Okay.
And I mean, you see it, like, even there's times where you can burn a property and the turkeys are in the smoke, right? I mean, like right when it's still smoldering, like pecking around feeding, because it's new, it's fresh. So I mean, I think that's the number one.
And then fresh browse for deer.
Yes, everything. It's that new growth is rich in nutrients.
Yeah.
So that's what helps them.
Everything works off of food. doesn't it?
Well, and it kind of depends on where you are too. Like if you're, well, I mean, like Aaron and I were talking about this before we got in here, but I bought a part of a place just west of here on the Illinois River, and it has 180 acres of flat ground, like pan flat. The Illinois River surrounds it. So like we're looking in now to try to figure out how to get, any kind of supplemental government grants or whatever to pay for infrastructure. And there's all kinds of programs, WRE, there's a bunch of different independent conservation organizations throw money at, if you're in a place that even potentially could hold waterfowl, you can get grants and money to do that, which is only and if ducks use it, you're dramatically increasing the value of the ground. Dramatically. You guys know this. And you're also, you're managing for deer and turkeys and whatever else is in the area. If you're managing for waterfowl, you're managing for everything. But like, I think from a management perspective, like JD's right, like burning a property is easy. Strike a match, get a crew out there to make sure you're not going to burn somebody else's stuff down, but, and do a prescribed fire. But like just to improve value, it's like build habitat, figure out anything that you can use. Like a lot of cattle farmers where we are, or row crop farmers rather, they'll have all this big piece where they're farming, but then they got a giant swath, 70, 80, 100 acres on the side that's just grass that might have a little spring or runoff running through it. Well, in our minds, we see that and we're like, on the downstream side, we can put a control structure, plant all that grass, put duck food in it, back it up on that duck food, and then it turns this, 160 acres of partially farmed ground, and there's no telling what that value goes to after that. If it holds ducks, and in our area, if you do that, it will hold ducks. So, it's just kind of trying to be creative in whatever area you're in and think about like what kind of resources are there and what your ground offers. And, obviously water for waterfowl is important. And you can do a lot of stuff if you just kind of put your mind to it.
It's interesting to know of all of the government grant opportunities.
Oh
as
man,
well.
there's a lot.
A lot of people don't know. And then now what we're seeing, I don't know if y'all are familiar with carbon credits. I mean, that is a hot topic. We were down in San Antonio at the RLI conference, and there's a lot on carbon credits. And so essentially the theory is you got Microsoft and Walmart, now these data centers that are basically polluting the environment. And so in order to offset or compensate, they are asking these companies to buy carbon credits from landowners. And so landowners with large blocks of land are really, it's pretty significant what they're paying for it. So land is going to continue as we become more and more industrialized and tech and data centers and big companies, and our population continues to grow, et cetera, et cetera. Land is going to become an even more and more precious and valuable resource.
Yeah.
And so I think all of us sitting here together, us on the land division brokerage side, and then you guys on the recreational, experiential, habitat, and being a steward of the land side, you know, I think we all have to come together, you know, and do our part and educate our consumers. We can talk with the land trust. We can give ideas to our landowners on how to increase their habitat. And thank y'all for doing that today. That is really valuable. And then we can just work together to get the message out about protecting our lands and increasing its habitat.
Yeah, look at the water rights stuff that's going on. It's moving its way south.
I know.
And I just have a feeling that at some point, I mean, right now we focus on oil because we need it for everything, but I do think that it will come full circle back to water
Look
rights.
at these data centers, y'all.
Dude, it's bananas.
Wild. Well, T. Boone Pickens was onto this in the early 90s.
Yeah.
He knew it. He was aware of it. And there's a lot of people that are raising the flag. Colorado's sad.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just barely running because we didn't even get any snow last year. The Colorado River is bad, y'all.
We
Lake
experienced
Mead
that.
is bad. It's sad.
Yeah.
I mean, so, you know, hey, water is precious, land is precious, and we got to take care of it.
We got to take care of it.
Yeah. Yeah. We all want to kill more bird. All right, last thing, guys. And I'll say it again, it is just phenomenal to see three guys that are just at the top of their game in what they do have the humility that you guys have to get alongside people and take them on these experiences that they never forget. That is a phenomenal thing. And because of that, which you said, you blend the expert, the product with the compassion and dropping the ego. Because of that, you have a very successful brand and business. You don't get the brand unless you got the product. You've earned the brand through the product. And so you've got this momentum and you've got this energy, and it's not just about y'all. It's about continuing to bring this level of experience and impact to other people. And you don't have to tell us everything, but have you guys thought about what that looks like in the future for FowlCo to continue to bring that level of impact and experience? And if you don't mind sharing some information with us about that for the future.
Well, so it's funny because like on the back end of the business, I see more of that than anybody. And I could just kind of 3-4 years ago, about halfway through where we are right now. And I was telling them and I was telling all of our people, I'm like, because, you know, we got a staff that are young folks and some of them starting to get married. And I'm like, y'all just stick, I promise you, just stick around and something's fixing to bust loose here. Like beyond just the outfitting side, you know, because that only can do so much. And I could just feel this, like I could see it, I could feel it. When JD had some folks approach him, we talked to some investors about, you know, doing some deals, multiple, and we all had at least one of us raised reservations about those deals, and we turned them away. And they were some pretty significant deals.
There's been quite a few.
Yeah, and so it was like, man, I mean, that shiny carrot looks good, but I just don't think in the end this is going to be a good decision. And so we passed on several deals, and then out of nowhere, Aaron had a customer in the very beginning who hunted with us for several years, and he's a phenomenal dude. As our prices went up, they backed out. But he calls Aaron and says, "Hey, we're not going to come back, but I'm going to send you a whale. I'll send you a guy." So he sends this dude. Aaron ends up taking him down to the wetland. This guy's son ends up killing his first duck on our wetland. And then the next day we go and it's froze up and there's like, I mean, dude, when I tell you it was absurd, we're on the Salt Fork of the Arkansas River on a high bank, and we're literally shooting down at 10,000 mallards coming into this unfrozen pocket of the river. It's the no, dude, it's like a swarm of bees coming down the river channel. Like you never seen nothing like
Some
it.
weird shit.
Crazy.
It was
You know
weird.
what I mean?
So they sorry about that. They just had this incredible experience, and so after they left, we sort of stayed in touch. Well, then it's a long story how we get to this point, but a year or two go by, and we end up, JD gets turned on to Boggy Creek, which is this club. That was kind of the next thing, and then that did so well, and it turned out so well, or has, that he ended up, working a deal with us, and he's now our fifth partner. This guy. So another just like all these dominoes fall, so that's kind of the direction we're headed now our new partner is very determined to find the absolute best places from a waterfowl perspective that he can. And he's purchased some of them already. And so we're getting to we don't know where it's going exactly, but we're getting to utilize the brand and our people. And yeah, so that's kind of the next thing. It's really cool. And then we're going to dump a bunch of money into the existing property to start another brand and do like an off-season shooting resort, because we only operate for 4 months out of the year, and that place just sits for 8. Not yet, not quite yet. I mean,
we can talk about it.
Well, I mean, what are the details? People want to know.
Yeah, so that's he's looking at Grace like, see, I got it. So guy that came, his gotten to be a close friend. I'm mumbling. I'm trying to find my words here. So the guy, he now works for us full time, but first came to us. His uncle booked a trip. Has a truck, or works as a CEO for a big trucking company in Texas, big one. And his nephew shows up, and I mean, dude's all tatted up, and he looked different. Yeah, it kind of looks like Teff, except a lot smaller, and could probably put Teff in a pretzel. But
Really?
So anyway, I remember
Teff in a pretzel.
I remember there was he brought a couple dogs, and he had them up at the guide house, and anyway, he drove up. He was going to go feed his dog. I noticed he had a Purple Heart license plate, and I walked into his uncle Bruce, and I said, "What is Holt doing?" He goes, "Well, son, there's a lot I don't know about Holt.
Yeah.
Maybe he'll tell you one day."
Yeah.
And anyway, throughout that trip, we found out that Holt was a Green Beret, and he has had some pretty traumatic experiences. Stayed on after his incident, stayed on and requalified, and was still. Anyway, he's very hyper qualified, and he's one of the guys that a lot of people in that SF community know about that day that he had. Anyway, he got to be friends with us, and I told Holt, I said, dude, it doesn't matter when. If you're in between deployments, you're welcome here anytime. You stay in my room, you come. He loves, obsessed with waterfowl hunting. And so I think like the third time that he took me up on it and staying in my room, and we've all, I mean, not just me, we all had become close friends with Holt. Yeah. He sat up in bed one night and he said, we need to do a shooting facility here. Before that, a couple of SEAL buddies I have, they had said, y'all need to do a shooting facility here. Well, I'm not about to train tactical. That's not my world. I mean, I could shoot a gun, but I'm not like training tier 1 operators. Sure. Well, Holt was the first one that said, we need to do a shooting facility. And I was like, you said we. And he goes, I know, that's what I want to do. And I think I'm going to med retire out in March. Mm-hmm. So dude, we were like, are you serious? He goes, I'm dead serious. So we started dirt work on the facility and built the berms and kind of got the main infrastructure in place. And last March, he med retired, and he moved and worked for us all last season during waterfowl season. And he is going to run that shooting facility.
Really?
And he is a pro. Like, it's unbelievable.
Like Stuart, he will take someone that is, I don't know what to do with my hands with a pistol, like literally that, at that level, like had never even held one. And in about 2.5 hours, he'll have them hitting an 80-yard target this size with open sights with a Glock. So we did that. So that was like let's just sort of test the market and see how they react. So we bought a much smaller version of what we intend to build eventually, and put some steel targets up, and gave him what he needed to run a pistol course. And so a lot of the afternoons when guys would get done duck hunting, they'd eat lunch, and then we take them out and, bought a bunch of pistols and let them just go out and shoot steel. And he has this whole course, and it is like, it's just a microcosm of what he's planning. But it is one of the coolest things to see when you see somebody. I watched them myself being out there half a dozen times, and they're just like, I don't even know how to hold this thing. To at the end of it, they're like, boom, bang.
Yeah,
That's cool.
it's almost like it's an extension of taking somebody to hunt for the first time the light comes on. When they go out there and they're actually on target and they're shooting and they're hitting and it's starting to click, the light's coming on. It's just another, like Aaron says, another core memory that you can provide.
That. Yeah.
But we're really excited about
I asked
that.
I asked Holt why that was going so well. I'm like, what's the trick? He said, well, it's a whole lot easier to do it here than it was in Syria. Like, 'cause he was teaching finding friendlies when he was in Syria and had like a finite window to try to train them on how to use a firearm so that they could be against the resistance or whatever it was. And I was like, oh, it made a lot of sense that he had done that in much more critical hardcore situations.
Right there.
Yeah, so that'll be its own brand, but it'll be on our existing property, and hopefully it'll become. I mean, in my mind, it becomes its own brand. Like we have a cool name. I'm gonna have my brother work on the graphics and all that stuff, and probably sell merchandise and the whole deal eventually. But that, coupled with the existing facility and then the land stuff, and we might end up having another big outfit fall under our purview at some point here pretty soon. So it's just growing like crazy.
Let me ask y'all this. Do y'all see a future where y'all have a branch or division of land consultants for maybe some of our owners to hire you guys third party to then create something?
We've actually talked about that a lot.
Yeah. Okay.
And we have the guys to do it
Yeah.
that are pros.
Actually our new partner's he's trying to figure out we kind of concede to him because he's the money man, but he's got a vision for doing something that's a little outside the box when it comes to that. So we're just kind of in waiting, trying to see what he comes up with.
I think you've proven yourself to the market. And especially if you have an awareness of all the programs, you can go in and look at a piece of property and go, this can be done, this can't be done. You can use this government money to do this. You can create this here, and then this track will be a supplement to this track. Like, that is priceless.
Yeah.
To be able to do that, and you can't fake it. And guess what? AI ain't gonna do it.
That's exactly right.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, it does a lot, but it's not gonna do that.
Yeah.
One thing I've thought that's interesting that you guys could have, you mentioned before, and we've all known it for a long time, since year 2, you're booked out and you got a wait list, and you could have essentially quit marketing or not made these pushes that you've continued to make to build the brand that you've made. Because you got a wait list, and you guys are all connected enough. You can fill that 16 people up pretty easy. But you continuing to push and build that brand has really allowed a lot of this other stuff, because the new investment stuff and just the ideas that keep rolling.
I mean, that's what we talked about in the very beginning, though, is, the intention was always to build a brand.
Always.
Like, that was always like, if we want to build an outfitter, we can be an outfitter, but we can't go from there. We can't do anything beyond that if we don't have a brand. So, and my brother was very integral in that. He is
100%.
He's done
Phenomenal.
pretty much all that work. Yeah.
Phenomenal.
But I will say the only way to build a brand is to be good at what you do.
That's it.
That's right.
That's it.
And
genuine.
it has to be genuine. There's got to be a grassroots build, right? I mean, you look at these, I'm making a lot of like country music analogies, but this is funny. You look at some of these country music singers that the industry has like made and then put out there, and they've never even played in front of people. And they have a couple of hits and then they're gone. You don't hear about it anymore. Or you hear about like the Ryan Binghams, who started playing at rodeos in the parking lot, and he was freaking good, and he's got a badass band, and it's grassroots, it's building. He'll be around for as long as he's alive, like a Willie career, right? And you have to have that. You have to have something that legitimizes what you do in order to build on that brand.
Well, I can tell you what y'all have done is special.
Thanks.
It's unique.
Thank you.
And the heart behind the brand is why you got the brand.
Yeah.
And you guys got to be so great at what you've done, have a humility that's rare, especially in this business. So I encourage y'all, keep that. Don't ever lose sight of that. And we hope that y'all reach all the different dreams you have and help other people reach those as well.
I hope we
And I
weren't.
mean that from the bottom of my heart. And so, you know, I think Matt and I, and now Aaron, you know, we want to be able to come alongside you guys if you need anything. I'll go back to what I said. We got to partner with people in different areas of the land business, whether that's land consulting, habitat stuff, government programs, brokering deals, helping find leases, utilizing technology to do whatever it is we need to do. And so I appreciate you guys being a partner. Did you have anything else? That's really good. Thank y'all for being here. We appreciate
Love you, dude.
it. Love you, man. Yep, that was really good.